We've tasted wines in family vineyards, eaten fresh pastries from village bakeries, and enjoyed farm-to-table dinners on board. Here's why river cruise dining is a completely different experience than ocean cruising. When people think about cruise food, they usually picture massive buffets. You know the ones. Endless stations, hundreds of options, soft-serve ice cream machines, pizza available 24/7. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just not what river cruise dining is about at all. Hi, I'm Eric, and after experiencing both ocean cruise dining and river cruise dining, I can tell you they're not even in the same category. One is about quantity and convenience. The other is about quality, authenticity, and cultural immersion. Today, I'm going to be breaking down exactly why river cruise dining is better. Not just the food itself, but the entire experience. From where the ingredients come from, to how meals are served, to the cultural experiences that happen around food. So if you're a foodie, or if you just appreciate good meals made with care, this is going to change how you think about cruise dining. Let me tell you about the moment when we realized that river cruise dining was on a completely different level. On our ocean cruise, breakfast was usually at the buffet. Lunch was at the buffet. And if we wanted dinner at the main dining room, you had to book a time slot or fit into one of their two dining categories. And the food was fine. It was mass produced for thousands of people. It was serviceable, but not memorable. Our first morning on the river cruise, we came down for breakfast, and instead of a chaotic buffet, there was a beautiful spread at our table. Fresh baked croissants, still warm, local cheeses and meats, fresh fruit, made to order omelets without standing in line. The waiter came over. He knew our names. He asked how we liked our coffee. And when my wife mentioned that she loved a particular type of cheese, the next morning there was extra waiting at our table. That's when we realized this isn't about feeding thousands. This is about creating an actual dining experience. And it just got better from there. Okay, so let's break down why river cruise food is genuinely better than ocean cruise food. And I'm talking about objective differences here. Here's the biggest difference. River cruises source ingredients locally at pretty much every port. Because river cruises stop in a new town almost every day, the chefs go to local markets and buy fresh ingredients. You're eating food that reflects where you actually are. In France, we had fresh baguettes from the village bakery that morning. In Austria, we had Wiener Schnitzel made with local veal. In Hungary, we had goulash with paprika from the region. On an ocean cruise, the food is loaded on at the departure port and stored for the entire week. For the most part, it's frozen, preserved, and designed to last. It can't be regional because you're not stopping in ports long enough to source fresh ingredients. The difference in taste is massive. Fresh ingredients just taste better. And when you're eating food that's actually from the region that you're visiting, it becomes part of the cultural experience. Most river cruise lines have partnerships with local farms, wineries, and producers. On our Danube cruise, we visited a family winery in the Wachau Valley. We met the winemaker, toured the vineyard, tasted the wines. And that evening at dinner, we had those same wines with our meal. That connection, knowing where your food comes from, meeting the people who produce it, that makes every meal more meaningful. You're not just eating, you're experiencing the region through the food. And here's something that's simple but important. River cruise ships serve 150 people. Ocean cruise ships serve thousands. When you're cooking for 150, you can focus on quality. Chefs can plate dishes individually. They can use techniques that don't scale to industrial levels. They can adjust recipes based on what's fresh that day. When you're cooking for 3, 5, 7, 8,000 people, you're in industrial food production mode. It's about efficiency and consistency, not creativity and quality. The result, river cruise meals feel like restaurant dining. Ocean cruise meals feel like cafeteria dining, even at the main dining room sometimes. Can we talk about buffets for a second? On ocean cruises, buffets are arguably the default, and they're chaotic. Long lines, people hovering over food, trying to carry your plate and drink while navigating the crowds. It's an experience, and not necessarily a good one. River cruises don't do buffets. Breakfast and lunch are served at your table, or there's a small elegant spread you can choose from. Dinner is always a multi-course meal served at your table with menu options. You sit down, you order, your meal is brought to you course by course. It's civilized, it's relaxing. To me, it's the way dining should be. And here's something that really surprised us. It's actually faster. No waiting in buffet lines, no searching for a clean table. You just sit, order, and enjoy. Now, let me talk about my favorite part of the river cruise dining experience, the cultural experiences that happen around the food. River cruises don't just serve you regional food on board. They immerse you in the food culture of each destination. In the Rhine Valley, we visited a family-owned winery that's been operating for 6 generations. We sat in their tasting room, tried 5 different Rieslings, and the winemaker explained how the soil and the climate affect the grapes. That evening, those wines were served with dinner. And suddenly, wine wasn't just a beverage. It was a story, a connection to the place that we visited not hours earlier. In Budapest, we took a cooking class where a local chef taught us to make traditional goulash. We went to the market with her, learned about Hungarian paprika, cooked together, and then ate what we made. And how it was so good. In France, we did a pastry tour through a small village, stopping at 3 different bakeries to taste regional specialties and learn their history. These experiences, learning to cook local dishes, understanding regional ingredients, and meeting the people who grow and produce food, they transform how you think about what you're eating. Now, here's something we didn't expect. Onboard themed dinners that celebrate the region you're traveling through. One night in Austria, the ship hosted a traditional Austrian dinner. The crew wore traditional dress, there was live accordion music, the menu featured classic dishes from the region. It felt like we were at a local celebration, not just a cruise ship dinner. Those kinds of experiences, you don't get them on ocean cruises. River cruises use food as a way to connect you to the culture, and it works. All right, let's talk about something that might seem small, but it actually matters a lot, the dining atmosphere. On our ocean cruise, the main dining room was massive, loud, hundreds of people eating all at once. You couldn't really have a conversation without raising your voice. On our river cruise, the dining room seated maybe 100 people. There were windows on both sides with views of the river, soft lighting, quiet conversation, classical music playing in the background. It felt like dining at a nice restaurant, not a cafeteria. And here's what that created. Space for us to actually connect over meals. We would sit by the window, watch the sunset over vineyards or castles, and talk about what we'd seen that day. We'd linger over dessert and wine, not feeling rushed or crowded. At this stage in life, when you finally have time to enjoy meals without rushing kids through dinner, that atmosphere matters. Dining becomes an experience again, not just fuel. And river cruises understand that. Every meal feels special. Now, let me address something important. Dietary restrictions. If you have dietary needs, vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free, allergies, what have you, river cruises can handle it incredibly well. Because the kitchen is smaller and serving fewer people, they can actually accommodate individual needs. You tell them once at the beginning of the cruise, and every meal is adjusted for your needs. My wife doesn't eat seafood. On our ocean cruise, that meant limited options and a lot of, can you substitute this conversations. On our river cruise, the chef just knew. Every menu had an alternative prepared specifically for her. No fuss, no awkwardness, just personalized service. And here's the thing, that level of attention extends to everyone. If you mention you love a particular dish, it might show up again. If you ask about an ingredient, the chef might come out and talk to you about it. That personalization, that feeling of being seen and cared for, it makes every meal better. So, if you're wondering whether river cruise dining lives up to the hype, it does, and then some. It's not just about the food being better, though it is. It's about the entire experience. The fresh local ingredients, the cultural immersion, the intimate atmosphere, the personalized service. Dining on a river cruise becomes part of the adventure. It's how you connect with the places you're visiting. And honestly, some of our favorite memories from river cruising involve meals. If you found this helpful, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I share honest cruise advice and travel tips specifically for empty nesters who want meaningful, authentic travel experiences. Now, I've talked a lot in this series about the experiences river cruising offers, the destinations, the small ship intimacy, the incredible food. But here's what I haven't fully explored yet, how all of this actually brings you closer together as a couple. Because that's really what happened for us. River cruising gave us mornings on the deck with coffee, evenings watching sunsets over castles, conversations we hadn't had in years. The next video in this series is all about how river cruises bring couples closer together and why this type of travel is perfect for reconnecting in this chapter of life. Drop a comment below and tell me what's your favorite type of cuisine to experience when you travel. Are you a foodie who plans trips around meals, or is food just fuel to you? I'd love to hear your perspective. Thanks for watching. Here's to meals that are more than just food, they're experiences. I'll see you in the next one.